In this video, we're going to create the planet Mars for our lander. I'm starting out in the top view and I'm going to drop in a polygon sphere. And I'm going to start to scale up pretty big, and I can change this as I need when I get to the animation process. Jumping to the side view, I'm going to eliminate most of the sphere at the bottom. Right-clicking and choosing face. I'll start to select some, and maybe I'll stop right about here. I'll hit delete. Return to my object mode, center the pivot, freeze the transforms, and delete by type history. I'll move it down to my x-axis, and I'll go to my perspective view. I'll hit F on the keyboard to zoom in on it. Next, we're going to create a crater hole, and that's where the lander will pull our object out when it lands. I'm going to use my edge loop tool. I'll put an edge in right about here, and then I'll zoom in, right-click and choose face. Selecting a face, I'll hold down my space bar, and I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, and I'll choose Poke. And you'll see it splits it up into 4 triangles, and that's not quite enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the upper right hand corner of the application, clicking on the little cube with the hammer, and I'm going to use the multi-cut tool. I've made sure that once I clicked on it in its attributes, I've set the snap back to 1. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to split this further, with each triangle being split in half again. Now I'll zoom in and I'll start to create where I'd like the opening to go. Once I have those set, hitting W on the keyboard, I'll right click and choose face, and I'm going to select these faces in the center and delete them. Now I'm going to add a little more detail to the crater. Right clicking, choosing edge, I'll double click on the inside of the opening. I'll go to my extrude tool, and I'll click on the blue dial, and that'll allow me to pull up from the surface, and I'll start to scale it in a little bit. Clicking on my extrude tool or hitting G on the keyboard, I'll center the function. Again, I'll scale and pull it in to give it a little thickness, and I'll hit G on the keyboard or click on the extrude tool one more time, and I'll pull it down, and I'll save. I'll start by applying my material. I'll right click and choose Assign New Material, Arnold AI Standard, and in the attributes I'll name it, and I'll reduce the specular weight to 1, and I'll click on the color tab. I'll apply the checker pattern, select the planet, and hit 6 on the keyboard. Now I've deleted the history and frozen the transform, and because it's more or less a flat surface that'll be viewed from the top, we're going to use planar mapping. So I'm going to go to UVs, I'm going to choose planar, I'll go to my attributes, and I'll choose Y, and I'll hit apply. So you'll see now that checkerboard pattern is pretty square, and that's pretty much what we want here. I'll right click and go back to my material attributes, selecting the planet in the object mode. I'll right click and break the connection of the checkerboard. I'll go to the UV editor, and in the UV editor I'll scale it in just a little bit, choosing the shell, and return to my object mode in my viewport, and then I'm going to go to image, UV snapshot, and I'll put it in my folder, naming it appropriately, and then we'll go into Photoshop and we'll apply the same texture we've been using for the planet before. I'll hit apply and close. I'll begin by copying and pasting my texture. Command A, Command Shift C if you have multiple layers you're copying through, and then Command V. You could also put the JPEG in we generated previously. So now I've got my texture for the top view in, and I'm going to turn off the UV map, and I'll hit Command S to save and name it. And we can use the bump map that we used previously. Back in Maya, I'm now going to apply the texture we just created. Going to my color node, I'll click on the checkerboard pattern, file, follow the breadcrumbs out to my texture, and again I'll return to my texture node, going down to geometry, and I'll just go ahead and apply that bump map as well. And I'll hit Command S to save.